All right, so we're going to get straight into the content, but before I do so, just a little disclaimer. This is going to be an uncut, no frills video. So I want you to have the experience that you would if you were one of my clients and we're just speaking off the cuff and I'm just sharing whatever I can to help you in your journey. And for this video, we're going to be talking about, I have my notes right here. The topic of this video is going to be Get Your Mind Right, a blueprint to prep your mind for bringing a vision and idea into reality. And so before I get straight into the content, I want to share, who this is for. This is for the individuals who have a vision or an idea in your mind. And instead of focusing just on the practical, which is really important, right? The building of a website, the building of an investor deck, creating copy for a newsletter, or creating content for social media. It's not going to be so much about that aspect of bringing a vision forth into reality. It's going to be more about what I think is really important and something that people don't really have a good handle on, which is how to deal with the mental and emotional side of this process of bringing a vision into reality. And so that's what I'm going to speak on. And it's something that I know has been difficult for me in the past, how to get past the fears, the worries, the doubts, even some self-judgment that comes up when I might notice myself procrastinating on doing something that I think I should be doing. And then by judging myself, I make it even harder to actually act and be empowered in whatever it is that I know I need to do. And so how do you actually navigate those waters? How do you navigate all of the things that are just very human, right? It's very human for us to doubt ourselves, to have fears, to feel a little guilt in some of the ways we're doing things. And so this is what this video is going to be about, because once you get in that internal alignment, it's going to make all those things that you probably already know you need to do in terms of the practical things, it's going to make those things a lot easier. And that's my intention in all of this. And so as part of this video, as you heard, clearing my throat, I'm actually getting over a cold. So you're going to see me drinking a lot of water to hydrate throughout this video, but I just wanted to keep it super real with you guys, bring it to you straight, as if, as I said before, you're one of my clients and we're sitting right in front of each other and having a conversation. And so to get into it, the first part of bringing a vision forth is really getting clear on what it is that you actually want to create, and doing that in really great detail. And this is important because I'm going to use an analogy so that you have a better understanding of why it's so important to get clear. Even though it's something very simple that you probably already know, when you have an understanding of why it's important to get clear, I think it's going to make it easier for you, and you'll probably be more motivated to do this step and be really mindful and present with this step instead of just kind of skipping right through it or rushing right through it. And so, excuse me, the analogy that I want to use is travel, using travel as an analogy for understanding why it's important to get clear. And so when you are traveling, what's the first thing that you do? For most people, the majority of people, the first thing that they do is they decide on the destination that they want to travel. And again, this sounds so simple, but when you understand why people do this and you go a little bit deeper, it's going to enable you to frame how you do things in a different way, okay? So why do people choose a destination? Why is it important to choose the destination when we travel? Well, it's going to inform you and give you a sense of what resources you're going to need to get to your destination, and also to have the best possible experience that you can have once you arrive to your destination. And this is important because once you understand and have an idea of what resources it's going to take for you to get to the destination and have the best travel experience that you can, then you will be more oriented to an awareness of whether you can actually achieve what you want to achieve. Okay? For example, when you look at, okay, it's going to cost, I know I need to buy a ticket, number one, to get to the destination, and it's going to cost me $1,500 to get there. And I'm going to need a certain type of clothing because of the environment that I'm going to. Maybe I'm going skiing, for example, and I'm going to need a snowboarding outfit, skiing outfit. I'm going to need a cabin. I'm going to need some food while I'm there, amongst other things, right? And then when you start to list out all of the things that you know you're going to need to have the best travel experience that you can, then you'll have a greater awareness of whether that is in your capacity to gather and acquire all of these resources that you need to gather and acquire in order to have the best experience that you could possibly have. And so then when you consider all of those things, you will have either a great level of confidence that you can achieve what you want to achieve, or you'll recognize that, yeah, maybe this is outside of my league right now, and there are a few things that I need to do to prepare myself to actually have the capacity to achieve what I want to achieve in regards to traveling to this destination and having the type of experience that I desire. And the same thing goes for having a vision. When you take the time to actually consider what resources it's going to take for you to fully manifest and achieve the vision that you're holding for yourself, then you'll have a better understanding of whether it's actually achievable for you or not. And this is important because confidence is everything, belief is everything, right? Which we'll also dive into later. It is everything. And so how do you determine whether you have the confidence or belief, and how do you achieve that? How do you actually gain the confidence and the belief to achieve a vision? Well, you sit down and you get clear in as much detail as you can. What is the thing that you want to achieve? What is the vision? What does it look like for you to actually experience this vision in its full manifestation? And again, when you do that, you'll get clear on whether it's something that is in your capacity to do, to achieve. And then from that place, you can assess whether to move forward or not move forward. Okay, so that is step one. Step two, I wrote here, seeing is believing. And I wrote that because I'm going to share a process with you that will enable you to strengthen your belief. Because as I just mentioned a little bit ago, it is so important, probably the most important thing, if you want to achieve anything in your life, to actually believe that you can do so. And for me, I really take the time, and I'm very intentional about enhancing and strengthening my belief when it is time for me to actually go after something that I want to do in my life, because I know the importance and the power of belief. And so how do you actually go about strengthening your belief? And I came up with my own unique process that I have developed over time, picking and choosing some things that I've seen out into the world, and then some things that I have intuited through my own experiences. And so I'm going to share that with you right now. Okay, so the first step in this process, in this technique, is to rate your belief. Okay, so after you've taken the time to identify what it is that you want to achieve as far as a vision, then I want you to sit and be really honest with yourself about how confident you are in actually achieving the thing that you want to achieve. And I want you to rate the level at which you feel confident in it. And so the scale can be from, 1 to 10. 1 being you have very little or no belief that you can actually achieve the thing, to 10 being you just know it, you're 100% confident, you know it's going to happen, that's how much belief that you have, and it's only really a matter of time, right? So that's the scale that you want to use, and then you want to rate yourself. And again, be completely honest, because it's not going to serve you at all to lie to yourself or to lie to anyone else. And so for most people, they fall, in the range of like 5 to 8, let's say. And so once you identify what is that number, let's say you're at a 6, right? The next thing that you're going to do is ask yourself, well, what are the limiting beliefs, the stories or the narratives that I'm telling myself or that I ruminate on in my thoughts that keep me from being a 10, okay? Maybe it's that you believe you're not good enough, or that you're not smart enough to actually achieve what you want to achieve, or that you don't have the resources available to you, or whatever that thing is, whatever that story is, you want to identify it, because when it's not addressed, whatever that story or mechanism is that you have in your mind, then it's going to have more power over you, and it's going to have more power over your level of belief and your self-confidence in being able to achieve what you want to achieve. And of course, you want to mitigate against that. You don't want these mechanisms, these stories in your mind. They're very often not your stories or ideas. They came from somewhere else, from experiences that you've had. And you want to identify what those are again, so that they don't have as much power over you, so that you can strengthen your belief. And so by rating it and then looking at, well, what's within that gap? If you're a 6, what's within that gap of being from a 6 to a 10? What's the story? And you want to write those down, and write as many as you can. If you have, a few, sometimes we have more than one. You want to identify what those are. And then, of course, once you identify what they are, you want to do your best to let them go. And what does that even mean? The process of letting go is really, at least from my perspective, just when the story or narrative appears in your thoughts and in your mind, you're not giving it attention. You're not giving it power. You're not giving it, any attention, which is ultimately power and energy. And when you do that, then it's not going to have as much of an impact on you as possible. So this is the importance also of getting clear of what your vision is, because instead of your attention being taken by a story or a narrative that disempowers you, you can put your attention on what you actually desire, which is your vision, okay? And so that is step 2 in the process. I'm going to make sure that I didn't miss anything, which I didn't. And then step 3 in this technique is to actually visualize your future self having the experience of this vision that you are holding, okay? And this is something that I intuited. I don't think there's kind of similar techniques out there, but this is my own. It's my own unique way of strengthening belief. And so what it looks like is you're going to use your imagination to think about you having the experience of your vision fully manifested, okay? And then as you're sitting there imagining what it's like to experience yourself having this vision, you'll know you have successfully done it when you feel some type of sensation or feeling in your body, okay? It might be goosebumps, you might feel a fluttering in your heart, you might feel lightness. You're going to feel some type of sensation in your body. So you want to be, of course, aware of what's going on internally. And then once you envision yourself having that experience, what you want to do is ask that version of you who is experiencing your vision manifested in another dimension of reality. And I'm using quantum physics really in this technique. And in quantum physics, there is some data and some ideas that when you have a thought of something that has not yet manifested, that thought is actually manifested in another dimension of reality, right? Because there's multiple dimensions of reality. So there's a version of you having the experience of your vision fully manifested when you tap into it through your imagination. And really the job, or your job, is to collapse time, collapse space and time to where that version of you who's having that experience is the version of you that's sitting here. And what this does is it actually enables you to cultivate the mindset that is necessary for you to act in such a way that enables you to bring that vision forth into reality. Because the current mindset that you have isn't the same mindset that will enable you to manifest or experience the vision that is not yet manifested. That mindset you currently have enabled you to experience all of the things that you're experiencing now. So you're going to need a new mindset to actually experience a thing that has not yet manifested, your vision and everything else that you want to create in your life. And so how do you go about cultivating that mindset? This technique actually enables you to do that. And so again, visualize that version of you who is experiencing your vision fully manifested. Look for the sensation or feel for the sensation in your body. And then what you're going to do is you're going to have a conversation in your mind with that version of you and ask it to give you the codes. And these codes can come in the form of thoughts, feelings, emotions that you experience in your mind and in your body. And what you want to do is you want to do this, if you can, on a daily basis, because in order to cultivate the mindset that you need to manifest the vision that you're holding, it takes time. And the more consistent and frequent you do this practice, the more consistent and frequent you'll get codes, and then those codes will just permeate in your consciousness. And the more frequent and consistent you do it, the faster you'll go in cultivating the mindset that you're going to need to manifest the vision that you want to manifest. And it doesn't really take a lot of time when you're doing the practice. You just sit there, visualize yourself having the experience of your vision manifested, have an interaction with that version of you who's experiencing your vision manifested, and then see what kind of thoughts and feelings and emotions arise in you when you do this technique. Okay? And so make it a habit if you can. It's a smart thing to do. Okay, so part 3, knowing your why. Okay, so this is the third step in prepping yourself mentally and emotionally to bring a vision forth into reality, is knowing your why. And I know this is something that's probably basic for most people and they've heard this before, but I want to give you my frame and perspective on why it's important to get clear on your why. So my perspective is that, when it comes to bringing a vision forth into reality, what's inevitable is that you are going to face challenges in your life. You're going to face some obstacles. You're going to face some struggles. And if you don't have a clear why, something that brings meaningfulness into your life, or that you can recognize is meaningful to you, and the reason why you're going after the thing that you're going after, then you're likely to succumb to those challenges, to those obstacles, to those struggles that will inevitably come as you're going after the thing that you want to experience. Okay, your vision manifested into reality. And the bigger the vision you have, the greater the struggles and the challenges will be. So if you're going to have some really great challenges, you better have a certain level of resilience and a way to build up that resilience so that, again, you don't succumb to those challenges that will come. And a lot of times that's one of the reasons why people do not actually ever experience their vision manifest, is because they ultimately give up. They give up because it gets too hard. And so how do you prevent yourself from giving up? Well, you get clear before you even start on the journey of going after the thing that you envision. You get clear of why you're doing it. Is it because you really want to leave a legacy for your family, for example? You want to experience what it's like to be excited and have something meaningful and fulfilling in your life every day. You want to wake up with the zest, you want to wake up with the energy, and that is a big reason why you are going after the vision that you're going after. So whatever that thing is, it's got to be really important to you. It's got to be really meaningful to you, because then when those challenges again come, it's going to be a lot easier for you to not give up, and you'll maintain that energy and that drive and the motivation to actually keep going. Okay, so that's step 3. And also, when you get clear of what your why is, one of the things that happens, this is a more esoteric and woo-woo perspective, but when you get clear on your why, and it's actually in alignment with what you're destined for and what your soul really wants in this lifetime, then it's almost as if you have divine support. And you'll notice these synchronicities and coincidences that make it easier for you to actually navigate the waters that you're going to have to navigate when you are on this journey of bringing your vision forth. And so getting clear on your why, when it's in alignment with what your soul actually desires, your true self, who you really are at the core, when you identify what the why is from that place, you're going to experience that alignment with a greater intelligence that will animate you and help you navigate all of what you will need to navigate when it comes to bringing your vision forth into reality. Okay, so step 4, tracking your experience and your progress. So this is important, because the tendency for a lot of people when they are working on any particular project is to look at the places where they failed. I think it's like a human condition. It's just a pattern that I guess is inherent to humanity and to humans, that we look at what's wrong more than what we look at as right. I think it's like a survival protection mechanism or something like that. And so when you focus most of your energy, if not all of your energy, on what you failed at or didn't do right, then that's going to be disempowering for you. And so by taking the time to measure your progress, and also, of course, you want to look at where you can get better and where you made the mistakes so that you can refine what you're doing, but you also want to look at what you did do well, because you want to maintain the strongest level of belief that you can. And the way you do that is by looking at the aspects of your journey that you did really well, and give yourself a pat on the back. You celebrate those things, because then that will help you maintain a strong belief so that you can take the actions that are in alignment with that belief. And so one of the things that you can do that I wrote here is, and that I do for myself, is a weekly reflection practice. So take 5 to 10 minutes at the end of either each week or a month, or at the very least every quarter. Take the time to reflect back on your journey, and you want to ask yourself some questions that enable you to kind of get some insight and some all right, so vulnerable moment for me here. I didn't realize that I didn't have enough space on this memory card to film the entire recording, and so it cut out. As I promised before, obviously it was going to be an uncut video, but okay, one cut. And I'm actually proud of myself, because I hope you didn't hear that. because this is the first time I've ever done something like this before. And to go 24 minutes without having to edit or stop the video feels pretty good. I'm proud of myself. Okay, so where was I? Yeah, so you want to take some time to reflect on your journey by asking yourself some questions, some really important questions that's going to give you some information and insight into what you can refine, what you can celebrate, amongst other things. Okay, so I'm going to give you just a few questions that I have here in my notes that you can ask yourself, but you are not, you don't have to just use these questions that I'm going to give you. You can make up your own, and hopefully intuitively you will figure out what questions to ask yourself, because everyone has a different and unique situation that they're dealing with. So find the questions that are your own, okay? But hopefully this will help you out. So one of the questions you can ask yourself is, what upset you this week? What are some of the things that triggered you? Because of course you want to identify what those triggers are so that they do not have any power or influence for the rest of your journey. Another question, what did you knock out this week? And what tried to knock you off course? So thinking about the obstacles that came up, and then how did you navigate them? Do you feel pretty good about how you navigated them? Were you able to stay calm and present? What resources did you utilize? Those are some things that you want to reflect on. Another question, what did you learn about yourself? I think that's pretty obvious what that will do for you. Next question, what do you need to let go of, right? What are some of the things that have been lingering, that are patterns that you might be identifying now, like some self-doubt, whatever it is that might be dragging you back or holding you back from being empowered in your journey? You want to first identify them and then of course let them go. How did your old patterns sneak up during your work? It's kind of the same thing as the last question, but a little different in terms of how you would frame it. The next question is, what fresh insights hit you? When you take your time to go through and reflect on all of these things, you'll get new insights about yourself, which is really cool. That is the result of going through this process. So taking the time to identify what those insights are just gives you a sense of like how you're growing ultimately. And when you can feel and see that you're growing, that's going to give you a lot of confidence, okay? Last question I wrote down, what positive things showed up because of your own skill sets that you've been developing? When you could see that, you've been practicing something, a certain skill or developing a skill, and you could see that you were able to accomplish or achieve certain things because you took the time to develop these skills, that is going to build confidence. And of course, it's going to be beneficial and very valuable for you to build confidence. And this is one of the ways to do it. Look back at what are some of the things that showed up as a result of you building some skills, okay? And then once you're done reflecting, you want to pick a few areas to focus on, okay? And then you're going to create a plan and a strategy based on what are some of the things that you want to focus on, and then integrate that into the strategy and the plan that you've developed for your overall vision, okay? So that is, what was it, step 4? Yeah, step 4 is tracking your progress through self-reflection, okay? So that was the last step, actually. And I'm a little bummed that the video cut off, because I think that would have been cool to be able to get through the whole thing without any cuts. But, gotta let go, let it be as it is. And so to end this video, my hope is that you can see that this whole process that I just laid out for you isn't so much about you being able to experience the material and superficial. It is more about you learning more about yourself, and in learning more about yourself, you'll identify the things that make your journey in life more meaningful, more fulfilling, and more enjoyable, because that's really what matters most to me. And so I gave you a process that will hopefully catalyze that experience into your life of being able to see the various aspects of you that have been holding you back from actually having a very meaningful and enjoyable experience in life. And so this process enables you to do that. And then by coming into greater alignment with who you truly are, by identifying and letting go of the aspects of you that aren't you, that keep you from being you, then my hope is that not only will you have a more meaningful and fulfilling experience, but then you'll be able to bring the skill that is an expression of who you are, that is easy and effortless for you to actually deliver to the world, but it also brings value and impact into other people's lives. That combination, I think, is really powerful for an individual to experience, and it's actually rare, from my observation, for people to experience that. And so this process that I just laid out for you in these steps, in terms of how you bring a vision forth into reality, is intended to do that, so that you can really show up in your life the way that you probably have always wanted to show up, and in a way that will enliven you and bring you more joy in life. And as a result of you being enlivened, stepping into your power and who you truly are and showing up in that way, naturally that's going to have a positive impact on all the people that you relate to and that you encounter. And I think that is what makes for the best possible life that we can possibly live. And so if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And I know that, when you watch YouTube videos or do, courses and trainings where there isn't really much interaction, it can be challenging sometimes because you're having your own unique experience, and to not have the opportunity to ask questions that are unique to your experience, it can make it a little hard to navigate some of these things that I shared. And if that's an experience that you're having, I'm here to help. I'm here to be of service to individuals that really want to do this work and can see the value and benefit of it. And if you want to do that work one-on-one with me, I offer various packages and services for you to do that. And so reach out to me. All my contact information is in the description. I hope this video was helpful to you and that you see your vision manifested and feel all the excitement and joy that comes from doing so. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.